Imagine a moment in history when the greatest baseball player in the world is from Omaha, Nebraska. So is the world's best football player. So is one of the NBA's top 10 players, and one of pro basketball's top rookies, and pro football's best rookie quarterback. This wasn't just any moment, but 1968, one of America's most tumultuous years. And it wasn't just any place in Omaha, but a single segregated neighborhood, 1 square mile. In the face of discrimination, a generation of black athletes pushed each other to break barriers. They busted stigmas and stereotypes. They put Omaha on the sports map. World Series MVP Bob Gibson, Hall of Fame tailback Gale Sayers, world-class sprinter Rodgers Sayers, NBA All-Star Bob Boozer, All-ABA guard Ron Boone, Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Rodgers, and pro football's first black starting quarterback Marlin Briscoe. They grew up together. They ate the same pork sandwiches at Skeet's Barbecue. They played the same Sunday pickup games at Coons Park. They entered the same theaters and comic book stores on a bustling North 24th Street. In the first half of the 20th century, their families migrated to Nebraska from the Deep South seeking better jobs. They found them in South Omaha's gory packing houses. Boozer's dad clocked in at Armour. Gibson's brother worked at Swift. Sayers' dad worked with Rodgers' grandpa at Cudahy. In 1955, Omaha became the #1 meatpacking hub in the world. Blacks often did the most grueling jobs, from the kill floors to the hide cellars, returning home reeking of dead livestock. But their paychecks built an economic base for the neighborhood. Their work ethic filtered down to their children. From the sins of discrimination, those future athletes developed a sense of unity. As kids, Gibson and Sayers couldn't leave the neighborhood for a gallon of milk. They'd get beat up or run out of Benson or Florence. Peony Park was off limits to blacks. When Boozer swam one day at the downtown YMCA, they drained the pool as he dried off. Disrespect and injustice, awful as it was, gave these athletes determination. They represented something bigger than themselves. Boozer won an Olympic gold medal in 1960. Gibson beat the Yankees in Game 7 of the 1964 World Series. A year later, Sayers scored an NFL record 20 touchdowns as the Bears rookie. But amid all their success, a paradox bubbled up. Omaha cheered them in uniform, but didn't necessarily want to eat with them, or work with them, or live next to them. When Gibson bought a house in a white subdivision, his new neighbors tried to run him out. When Boozer tried to build a house on a white street, the developer said no. Frustration simmered, anger boiled over. In March 1968, segregationalist George Wallace came to Omaha to kickstart his presidential campaign, and a melee erupted at his Civic Auditorium rally. For 3 nights, riots destroyed the storefronts of North Omaha. It was a prelude of tragedy across the country in '68. In April, a gunman struck down Martin Luther King Jr. In June, just weeks after presidential candidate Bobby Kennedy attracted a huge crowd on North 24th Street, he was assassinated too. Those were hard days for the neighborhood. The meatpacking industry collapsed. Police shootings incited more unrest on 24th Street. The city built a new interstate through North Omaha. A vibrant culture crashed. But their heroes demonstrated resilience. On October 6, 1968, a Sunday afternoon, Omaha experienced the most extraordinary day in its sports history. Gibson dominated the Detroit Tigers in Game 4 of the World Series. Sayers rushed for 100 yards against the Baltimore Colts, including a stunning 60-yard touchdown. And Briscoe became the first black man in America to start a pro football game at quarterback. All this in a span of 3 hours. The greatest generation of Nebraska athletes is more than a sports story. They experienced triumph and pain, fame and fury, glory and heartbreak. 50 years later, the extraordinary context of their achievements only enhances their place in history.